New here at 11, President Joe Biden is visiting Wisconsin next week. This is according to an announcement from the White House from just about an hour ago. The president plans to travel to Milwaukee on Wednesday and then to Saginaw, Michigan on Thursday. This comes as Vice President Kamala Harris stopped in Madison on Wednesday of this week, and First Lady Jill Biden was in Waukesha last weekend. We still have very few details about the presidential visit, but our political team will keep you updated with all of the latest on the timing and the exact locations of the president's visit as we learn more.